Ever wondered how a single Space Marine chapter just, like, ignores the sacred Codex Astartes and actually thrives?
Yeah, or why some factions want you to shoot them,
Yeah.
like getting shot into an advantage.
Exactly. And how do you even begin to tackle a psychic horde that literally eats planets?
Yeah, big questions.
Well, you've definitely come to the right place. Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. We're plunging headfirst into the grimdark future of Warhammer 40,000 today.
That's right. We've got a whole bunch of interesting sources here. Stuff from Reddit tactics threads, lore summaries, even bits from the core rulebooks.
And our mission, our goal for this dive, is to pull out those key insights, those surprising facts about how these different factions work.
Both in the story, the narrative, and crucially, how that plays out on the tabletop. How their identity gets baked right into the game rules.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Warhammer 40,000. It's a tabletop war game, right? Armies of miniatures.
Citadel of miniatures, yeah. You've got strategy, tactics, dice rolls. Luck plays a part, obviously.
But it's really about bringing these massive conflicts to life, isn't it? And the rules themselves often reflect how brutal the universe is.
Oh, absolutely. Take something like mortal wounds. These are pretty nasty.
How so?
Well, unlike normal damage, they just skip armor saves, go straight through.
Ouch.
And the really devastating part, any extra damage from that mortal wound isn't lost. It spills over onto other models in the same unit, like a single supercharged shot wiping out multiple guys.
Okay, that is brutal. What about defending against stuff like that?
Well, you've got abilities like Feel No Pain X+. On a specific dice roll, usually a 5+ or 6+, the model just ignores the wound. Doesn't matter if it's mortal or regular, it represents, sheer toughness or maybe some weird biology.
Gotcha. So rules reflecting resilience and weapon keywords. They add layers too, right?
Torrent weapons, they just automatically hit. No roll needed. Great for clearing out hordes of weaker enemies.
Okay, useful.
Then lethal hits. A critical hit, usually a 6 on the dice, automatically wounds the target, no matter how tough they are.
So that's right through. Nice.
Lance gives you a bonus to wound when you charge. Captures that impact.
Right, the momentum.
But maybe the most tactical ones are the anti-keyword X+ abilities. This is where lore meets rules perfectly.
How does that work?
So, say a weapon has anti-psyker 2+. If you shoot at a unit with the psyker keyword,
Yeah.
you score a critical wound on a 2+ crick. Normally you need a 6. It makes certain units absolute specialists at killing specific enemy types.
Ah, okay. So you can really tailor your units to hunt specific threats. That's cool. That sets the stage nicely.
Exactly. It's the foundation for all the faction variety.
Speaking of variety, let's talk Tyranids, the Great Devourer.
Oh boy. Yeah, the extragalactic insect-like aliens.
Yeah.
Driven by the hive mind. Their only goal is basically consume everything, all biomass.
Trillions of them, right?
Yeah.
And that psychic presence. The shadow and the warp.
Yeah, it's this massive psychic dampening field that messes with enemy psychers. It can literally cut off whole systems from psychic communication or powers. You're not just fighting an army. You're fighting this, evolving biological force.
So how do you fight that? Seems kind of impossible.
Well, it's tough. Since the big Tyranid creatures are often psychers themselves, hitting their psychic abilities is key. Anti-psyker gear, special ammo really helps.
Makes sense.
And the general agreement, both in lore and among players, is you just cannot win a war of attrition against them. You run out of bullets and bodies before they run out of bugs.
So decisive strikes. Go for the throat.
Exactly. Think surgical strikes, maybe even extreme measures, like planting a bomb on their ship instead of trying to board it and fight through endless swarms. Conventional victory is just rare.
And you need firepower, right? Lots of it.
Massive ranged firepower. You need to thin those hordes down before they reach you. And interestingly, you have to protect your gun line.
Protect it from what?
From surprise attacks. Horde units sneaking around the flanks. Getting into melee with Tyranids, as one source bluntly puts it, won't end well.
Right. Bolters over chainswords for horde clearing in this case.
Pretty much. And don't go it alone. Alliances with, say, the Imperial Navy or the Inquisition are often crucial. You need all the help you can get.
Okay, so that's the how to fight them. What about how they fight? Their playstyle.
It's all about the swarm, mostly. Spamming hordes, units like termagants, hormagaunts. They often have the endless multitudes keyword, meaning they can just come back. Or reposition for free when damaged. The tide just keeps coming. Plus, they have big monsters, carnifexes with blistering assault. If you shoot it, it gets a free move.
Yeah.
So shooting them can actually help them get closer.
Oh, that's nasty. Turning your attack into their advantage.
Yep. Hive Tyrants give command point benefits, buffs. They often fly.
Yeah.
Raveners are shock troops that can deep strike in behind you and then even pull back into reserves if they're not stuck in combat. Super mobile threats.
And here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because despite this image of a, mindless swarm, they can actually be sneaky. The advice is literally protect your ranged firepower by blocking a surprise horde from behind. You're not just outthinking an opponent. You're trying to anticipate this evolving alien intelligence.
Absolutely. And don't forget their psychic power. Neurotyrants, Maleceptors, these are potent psychers. There's even a detachment, the Synaptic Nexus, that gives huge bonuses for units staying near synapse creatures, reinforcing that hive mind control.
Okay, from the alien swarm to the Emperor's finest. Sort of. Let's talk Space Marines.
Right. The genetically engineered super soldiers. Tip of the spear for the Imperium, great stats, great armor, very versatile.
But almost too versatile sometimes. I hear about menu paralysis.
Yeah, there's so many chapters, so many units and options. It can be overwhelming for new players, for sure.
So let's focus on a few unique ones. First up, the Black Templars.
Sigismund's boys, descended from the Imperial Fists, famous for, doing their own thing. They don't strictly follow the Codex Astartes.
Still fighting the Great Crusade, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. They have unique traditions like the Feast of Blades, but the really fascinating thing now is their view on psychers.
Right. This has changed, hasn't it?
Massively. Back in 8th edition, the lore was they sort of tolerated Imperial psychers, like astropaths, even if they hated Xenos or Chaos ones. Grudgingly, but still.
Okay.
Now, 9th edition onwards, it's a complete 180. They hate all psychers, period.
Yeah.
Even sanctioned Imperial ones.
Yeah.
It's a huge shift, reflecting their extreme faith.
So imagine this. You're a Black Templar commander. A few years ago, maybe you'd have an allied astropath for communication. Annoying, but necessary.
Right.
But now, that same psyker is anathema, something to be purged. That fundamentally changes your army building, your potential allies. It shows how lore directly impacts tactics. Does that zeal ever backfire strategically?
Oh, it absolutely can. Denying yourself psychic support in a game where it can be powerful, that's a choice. But it's who they are. Their strength is that righteous zeal, re-rolling advance and charge rolls. They want to get into melee.
Chaining themselves to their swords and all that?
Exactly. The Emperor's Champion unit is all about seeking out enemy leaders in duels. Crusader squads, sword brethren, lots of power fists, chain swords, pure aggression.
Okay, cool. Next up, a very different kind of Space Marine chapter, the Death Watch.
Yeah, these guys are unique. They don't recruit from one planet. They're made up of veterans seconded from other loyalist chapters.
So a single squad could have an Ultramarine, a Blood Angel, a Space Wolf.
Precisely. Yeah. Veterans, Terminators, Bikers, Assault Marines, all potentially in one kill team unit. It's wild. Their whole purpose is hunting Xenos. They're the chamber militant of the Ordo Xenos, the ultimate specialists, and their rules reflect that flexibility. Mission tactics lets them pick combat doctrines in any order they want, adapting each turn.
Unlike standard Marines who follow a set sequence.
Right. Plus, they get rerolls of Win Bawans to hit against specific Xenos types. Tyranids, Orcs, Tau, Necrons, Eldari. Makes them very efficient hunters.
And they can be sneaky, too, infiltrial enamel.
Yeah, allows for infiltration deployment, get closer, strike first. It fits their role perfectly. Quick comparison, the Grey Knights are sort of the anti-demon equivalent for the Ordo Hereticus. Powerful psychers themselves, but a totally separate faction in the game. Maybe a bit simpler to manage unit-wise.
Gotcha. And finally, for the Marines, the Space Wolves, the Rout.
Leman Russ's sons, the Emperor's Executioners. Made to murder empires, as the saying goes. Their home world, Fenris, is this brutal ice and fire death world.
Yeah.
Shapes their whole culture nomadic, a bit barbaric.
And their chapter structure is weird too, right? Scouts are veterans.
Totally backwards. Yeah. You need battlefield experience before you can be a scout in the Space Wolves. New recruits are blood claws, total berserkers.
Makes sense.
Then they mellow slightly into gray hunters, and the most experienced become long fangs, the heavy weapons guys. It's a unique progression.
Any famous names we should know? Bjorn the Fell-Handed.
Bjorn. Ancient dreadnought. Fought alongside Russ himself. First great wolf after Russ vanished. And here's a lesser-known detail.
Yeah.
Bjorn isn't just a warrior. He's been a diplomat, too. He actually negotiated peace between the wolves and the Inquisition and Grey Knights during the conflict known as the Months of Shame. Shows there's more to them than just howling berserkers. They can be strategic, political, when they need to be.
That's fascinating. As a layer beyond the Viking berserker image, what about Logan Grimnar?
Khorne Great Wolf, rides a massive chariot, wields the axe of Mordecai, which is actually a reforged demon axe of Khorne, funnily enough, that doesn't corrupt him. Ragnar Blackmane is another big hero, very aggressive.
And how do they play now? Still all melee?
Well, that's shifting. 10th edition made vehicles and monsters tougher, so they've become more of a combined arms force. Still strong in melee, mind you, especially with their unique dreadnoughts and terminators. And they have swift hunters units with actual wolves attached, can advance and charge, and get bonuses to pile in moves. Very thematic.
Okay, that covers some really distinct Space Marine flavors. But let's widen the lens again. You've got these elite armies, right? Knights, custodes, few models, super powerful.
Right.
Then you've got the hordes, Tyranids, orcs, guard, drowning you in bodies. How does the game, the core rules about units on datasheets moving and fighting, actually balance that huge difference in numbers versus individual power? What really stands out to you about how these fundamentally different armies actually win games?
That's really the core tension and genius of 40K, isn't it? It's not just about killing. Elite armies like Knights have immense power, yeah, but they pay huge points for it. Losing one model is devastating. They have to be surgical, play the objectives perfectly.
Whereas the hordes
win by just being everywhere. Board control. They can afford to lose units holding an objective. They have more units to perform actions, screen enemies out. It's about leveraging your specific strength, raw power, or sheer numbers against the mission itself.
So let's look at some of those others. Imperial Guard, the Astra Militarum.
The guards. Yeah, the regular humans. Their strategy is literally described as drowning the enemy in bodies. Massed infantry. Huge tanks.
And commissars keeping everyone in line.
Grimly effective, yeah. Maintaining discipline, sometimes through field executions, and they can even bring back destroyed squads as reinforcements. The tide of guardsmen just keeps coming.
Okay, then orcs. WH40K.
Huh. Yep. Green-skinned, love a good fight, love loud guns, daka. They excel up close, mobbing enemies in huge, enthusiastic hordes.
But their shooting is bad.
It's described as spotty at best. They prefer big, loud, inaccurate explosions over precision. But when it hits hard. Their whole plan is basically get stuck in and crump them.
Necrons, the space robot skeletons.
Right. Ancient Egyptian-themed robots. Their big thing is durability. They have rules to regenerate damage, even models coming back from the dead.
Reanimation protocols.
Exactly. Plus, tough armor, good anti-tank guns, often with quantum shielding, making their vehicles tricky to damage consistently. But they're generally slow, and critically, no psychers. Very vulnerable to psychic attacks.
Interesting weakness. What about the Tau Empire? The good guys.
Well, they present themselves that way. The greater good, diplomacy, incorporating other races. Tactically, they are a premier shooting army. Excellent guns, cool battle suits, stand back and blast you off the board.
But weak up close.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
If you can survive the shooting and get into melee, they tend to fold. And like Necrons, almost no psychers, making them very vulnerable there too.
And about that good guy image, the lore's a bit darker, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Behind the greater good facade, there's stuff like alleged mass sterilizations, forced cultural assimilation, mind control helmets, and a rigid caste system suppressing free thought. By most standards, they'd be pretty villainous. Shows how Grimdark 40K is. Even the hopeful ones have a dark side.
Right. Everyone's got blood on their hands. What about Imperial Knights?
Pure powerhouses. Massive individual models. Dominant shooting, dominant melee, super durable. Tall enough to ignore a lot of terrain for line of sight.
Wow.
Indomitable heroes can give them feel no pain too. Points cost. You have very few models. Makes playing objectives hard. And losing even one knight is a massive blow. They need to make every activation count.
And custodes. Similar vibe.
Very similar, yeah.
Yeah.
The Emperor's personal bodyguards, even tougher than Marines, excellent armor. Often army-wide invulnerable saves. Incredibly hard to kill.
But again, very few models.
Exactly. Low model count. High impact per model. Requires precision and careful play. But ultimately, remember, the game's about having fun, right? Testing your skills, admiring the models. Good sportsmanship is key, despite the brutal setting.
Definitely.
So if you're building an army, or even just thinking about the lore, maybe consider this. You've got the Black Templars running on pure faith, Tyranids on instinct.
Right.
But even the supposedly idealistic Tau use morally gray, frankly sinister methods.
Right.
It kind of leads to a controversial conclusion, doesn't it? That on the tabletop, every faction is just playing out their own shade of grimdark. The best strategy often means leaning into that brutality, whether it's mass fire, psychic suppression, or just, praying for good dice rolls when your zealous warriors charge in.
What a universe. It really is incredible how the lore and the rules are just so tightly interwoven in 40K.
Yeah.
Every choice feels like it reflects the character of your army.
Absolutely. Understanding that connection between the narrative and the mechanics, it just deepens the whole experience, doesn't it? Makes every battle feel more meaningful.
Well, we hope this deep dive gave you some solid insights, maybe a few surprises about these factions, a bit of a shortcut to understanding their tactics and their place in the 41st millennium.
Yeah, hopefully useful.
We'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite faction strategies? Any wild lore facts we missed? Got more questions? Let us know. Share your thoughts, subscribe to the deep dive, maybe leave a review. Join the community.
We're always keen to explore more of this huge universe.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive, and we'll catch you in the next one.